The Bribri people are one of the main ethnic groups in Costa Rica. Although prior to the arrival of the Spaniards, the distribution of the autochthonous Costa Rican populations was not known, today we can be certain that the Bribri and Cabecares settled along the Talamanca mountain range and were the original owners of those lands. The Bribri region is geographically located in the southern part of Costa Rica. The main population of approximately 10,000 people live in the Caribbean region along the slopes of the Talamanca Range. Their most important activity is agriculture, predominantly cocoa and banana production. Because of their location on the flanks of the Talamanca Range, a large number have settled in the mid to high mountain elevations and mainly use rivers for transportation. All of these streams are born in La Amistad International Park, better known as Pila, which encompasses 197,000 hectares that were declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983. The park is located along the Talamanca Range, the most extensive mountain range in the country, which is still covered by unaltered tropical forest. It is referred to as international because it extends into the neighboring country of Panama, where an additional 207,000 hectares are protected. In Costa Rica, the Ministry of the Environment and Energy is in charge of protecting these lands. A single office in Cahuita with quite limited funding is not enough to protect Pila and its buffer zones. This is where the Bribri people come in. Because their land borders on La Amistad International Park, they are now the guardians of this unique treasure. But it's very hard for people with few resources for economic development to also protect this vast area known to be a national park since 1982. Beginning in 2003, the Nature Conservancy devoted the strategy of working with the Bribri. The Conservancy proposed a solution to the problem by fostering economic and cultural development of the Bribri people through tourism activities, which would then impact on the protection of the Caribbean Pila. The network was created in 2003 for the purpose of developing tourism for those interested in learning about the Bribri culture as well as the ecology of the area. The Indigenous Tourism Network is made up of 17 groups that have come together to grow not only as an organization, but also as indigenous people. Each of the groups is linked in one way or another with the development of tourist products or services. Today, with modernization and globalization trends, the cultural traditions of these people have been disappearing little by little, hiding their roots deeper and deeper in the mountains. Survival of their culture and the protection of Pila have become essential goals for the network, since in some way their legendary traditions and the park itself will lend greater force to the development of these tourism-related activities. It is a mutual help relationship. Currently, the Indigenous Network has become stronger, and they continue to improve the services and products offered to tourists. Among its members, we find Acomuita. The association is comprised of Indigenous women in charge of giving tourists a sweet welcome. These women have organized to develop one of the most traditional products in the Bribri culture, cocoa. 70 women have come together to create a new alternative by developing a new business based on their ancient knowledge of cocoa. The best way to further discover the secrets of the Bribri culture is to stay at the educational farm. This is an important project in operation since 1989. It arose from a need to transfer knowledge in agricultural practices among indigenous people, and it has evolved to become the reception center for the area, offering visitors amenities, accommodations, and food services. As the name indicates, the educational farm also serves as an activity center for courses and workshops, many organized and given by the Indigenous Network to train participants of member groups. The educational farm is a community organization. It belongs to two indigenous territories, Bribri and Cabecares, and its main objectives are to develop training for indigenous people and to develop tourism into indigenous communities. This is what the farm has been working toward for the last 5 years. The educational farm has a lot to offer its guests. It is a center from which to visit the rest of the attractions that the different network member groups offer. There are several options. A tour to Cachabri is available to visit the villages of the Awas or local shamans. Another option for visitors is a tour of Huatzí to become familiar with the Bribri medicinal plants and their craft work. The most popular tour is a visit to Yorquín. This tour begins on a beach off the Telire River where you board a boat. The trip along the river is a unique experience. You go downstream along the Telire and then turn upwards on the Yorquín River. Hundreds of birds and century-old trees welcome tourists along the way to Yorquín, a small community of about 1,000 people. Stibraupa is one of the member groups of the Indigenous Network who live in the village. They handle transportation for tourists as well as lodging and meals in the area. Stibraupa offers a variety of options to visitors. The production of organic chocolate continues to be one of the activities that foreigners find most interesting. After a flavorful traditional lunch, Stibraupa offers visitors classes of Bribri. If you want to learn more about the area, there are many natural treasures to explore. A walk along the many paths is an ideal way to admire the local flora and fauna. Tourists can learn how to use and make the tools commonly used by the Bribri. Their skill with the bow and arrow, as well as the weaving of suita, a palm frond used mostly to make roofs on the houses, is remarkable. After stocking up on memories, the current of the Yorquín River awaits visitors for the return trip. These are just 5 projects out of the 17 groups that comprise the Indigenous Network. Without a doubt, we can conclude that throughout these life experiences with the local people, the network's groups are doing a great job in developing an excellent tourism product. Consequently, a new industry is arising, leading to a better economy and to the preservation of their culture.
I feel that we have learned a very important process through the network. It is an alliance with organizations working towards a single purpose. The idea was to recover our culture, both in language and in cultural activities. And we have become aware of the potential importance of indigenous communities and their culture, because this will permit us to improve and conserve the area, especially at a time when the location of the indigenous community provides a buffer zone for pila.
For hundreds of years, the Bribri have lived in harmony with nature. Today, they are not only at peace with their sacred land, but they also share their ancient culture with tourists in a sustainable manner. Now more than ever, they are aware of the importance of protecting La Amistad International Park.